You guys, the Lord has brought to my attention a beautiful person, right? And I somehow wandered on their page. I was discerning and I was like, Lord, talk to me a little more, okay? I was like, what's going on? Okay, so there are people, and it's not just this one person that the Lord has highlighted me, but the person that the Lord has highlighted me let me know that He is trying to use them, right? And I was watching a video, and they were talking about how they hear from God and whatnot, and they identify as a psychic. Now, we know that anything, and you guys, I say this with all love, we know that anything that God does, the enemy tries to copy. You know, he's not original at all. God made him. Like, come on now. You can't be original. But anyways, so God calls it prophetic. The enemy calls it psychic, right? So his people that do his work for him are psychics, or mediums, or tarot card readers, or palm readers, and whatnot, right? The Lord is waking people up, all right? There were witch doctors or whatever, mediums in the Bible, and they they hear from demons, right? So when you're able to hear in the spiritual realm, and I say this a lot and I don't want to burn you guys out with it, but you have to learn the Lord's voice, right? You have to learn when he's speaking. So in the spiritual realm, there are Elohims. Elohims is gods, right? But not just gods, but the Most High. The Lord's voice is in there too. So Buddha, Muhammad, all of them, right, are up in the Elohim, in the spiritual realm. The Elohims are in the spiritual realm. But this person that I'm speaking of, the Lord has called you and chose you to spread his word, right? And I was watching the videos, and I know there's a lot of prophetic words that I do not speak on because it could compromise security. When the Lord gives you prophetic words, you really need to, and look at this, you guys, I kid you not, there's literally a truck right here that says Matrix. Can you guys see that? Probably not. Let me anyways, that truck says Matrix. There are people that the Lord is breaking out of the Matrix right now. But anyways, thank you, Lord, for that. The enemy just likes to confuse people. There's wisdom. There's earthly wisdom, and there's the wisdom from heaven. And what he does is the enemy tries to confuse people. I remember when I first started hearing from the Lord, I was able to hear in the spiritual realm, and Stephanie P. Smith always talks about this. She says it's sometimes loud, and I got frustrated with it being loud, and I just backed off. But the Lord is calling people who are prophetic to seek him and to talk to him. But like I was saying about the words that the Lord gives us, there was, I think her name is Angel on here, I'm Just a Vessel. She spoke about her vision that she saw about missiles going in the land, and I forgot where it happened at. I don't want to say Gaza or something. It happened a couple months back where there was a strike where missiles were launched into a territory. I don't think this was in the US, but yeah. So words like that, I'm not gonna lie, I'll be hesitant because that did have something to do with the military and stuff like that. I've even gotten told after making my YouTube channel that you can get arrested for being prophetic, but that's not a problem. You know, we've been arrested before. But yeah, it's really a threat. It's really a threat. The Lord did not give me a full download about the whole coronavirus thing, but this person was saying a lot, right? And I do believe this person. As I was watching it, the Lord did not tell me there was a lie told at all. So I believe this person is telling the truth, but you have to be careful with some of the prophecies that the Lord gives you, because yeah, it can compromise your safety, right? Especially when you're talking about the dark web and stuff like that. Because whether people believe it or not, this stuff is real. The dark web is real, y'all. I personally have been around people who were in the Illuminati, and this is years ago. This had to be like 6 years ago. I told you guys that I have a family member that works with celebrities. So, with that being said, when I would go and help out, here goes the Illuminati doing their thing, right? But it's not to put fear into anyone, because God hid me. God hid me, and I didn't understand why I was being hidden. I was frustrated. I'm just like, why am I not getting my breakthrough, And it's now I see why. It was for my safety, you know. There's times when even prophetic voices will, like, mid-video, they'll start to say whatever it is, and they'll pause and they say, well, I shouldn't say that because my safety will be at risk. And I would go and seek the Lord. So if you're watching like a prophetic video, right, and this person is talking about their safety might be compromised, and you want to know more about it, but they cannot say it, ask the Lord to reveal to you what he has revealed to them, and he will. He has done that for me, right? There's a lot of things that we cannot speak on because government officials and stuff like that is in on it, and there's not much that we can do. And that's just me scraping the surface, because like I said, safety can be compromised. Yeah, I don't want to get too deep into that, but if you notice, people that have challenged the systems, they have came up unalived out of nowhere, okay? When the whole thing happened with Dr. Sebi, and he was talking about the pharmacy world, how he was healing people. It wasn't so much that they didn't want the sick healed. People will not be going into pharmakia. Pharmakia is when you alter your consciousness and you are going into the spiritual realm. And a lot of people that were going into the spiritual realm were not equipped. So they can cause you to lose your mind. They can cause you to unalive yourself and stuff like that, going into the spiritual realm. It's the same with these demons, these people. There was a girl who kept talking about the eclipse. You need to choose a side, and I think she identified as a medium or something. I remember seeing horoscopes in her thing, but she unalived herself. She threw her 9-year-old out of the vehicle on the freeway. She threw her 8-month-old out of the vehicle on the freeway, and she unalived her boyfriend the same day that the eclipse happened, right? So these demons that were speaking to her convinced her that she needed to do something ASAP about what was going to happen next, right? So they basically tormented her to death, okay? But you guys, for the people that identify as psychics, you are prophetic, and you guys need to take every word back to the Lord, because then he will confirm if it's from him or not. I was even looking at this person's page, and she sees things that most people don't, because they're not that far in their walk, right? And I tell you guys this all the time. I see supernatural stuff and stuff going on in my house. I just don't talk about it. And I don't know if the Lord will ever allow me to talk about it. It might be 5-10 years from now before I talk about it, because it's better if it's happening, right? It's better if it's happening, especially before the whole New Age movement got popular. Like about 5 years ago, not that many people were practicing witchcraft and doing the period blood in the food and all this other stuff, but now it's real popular. Everybody's talking about it. Oh, do this, do that, say this love spell. Literally, when I'm scrolling on Facebook, just different types of spells pop up, and it's teaching people within 30 seconds on how to bind someone in the spirit. So now that it's more popular, I have a platform. The Lord has led me to speak about these things, but until the Lord releases me to tell you guys more about some of the things that happen, I really can't. And only the people that experience it too are going to know exactly what I'm talking about. But I guess the Lord is going to wait till it's a little bit more normalized, okay? And that's what media really does, you guys. The things that we see on TV, it's not made up. Someone either saw it in the spiritual realm, had a dream about it, but it's not made up. And once you realize that, you'll start looking at things a little different. Now, I don't watch horror movies, but even the horror movies, you know how they have like movies about zombies? Those are people that are alive in the spiritual and then dead. I mean, alive in the flesh, but dead in the spiritual. So even the zombie stuff, it's like a subliminal thing. I told you guys when the Lord gave me a vision of what I thought was an apocalypse, and he said, no, it's Walking Dead. It's people that are alive in the flesh and dead spiritually. And look at the back of this card. It says spirit, you guys. It literally says spirit. So the Lord is speaking right now, but something as small as that, you know, people don't catch. But what else? And even like, you know, there's movies about the government and spies and all this. Now, this is not so much of a secret, but in the Bible, the Lord had sent his people to spy out the land, right? And there were people looking for these spies, and there was a woman who was a prostitute or whatever, and she let them in and she hid them, right? So in the Bible, there are spies. So it's not like, oh, this is such a big secret, because it wouldn't be in the Bible if it was, you know, supposed to be one of the biggest secrets. But if there are spies in the Bible, then we know they're true spies amongst us, right? And this is not some conspiracy stuff. You guys can look it up. But later in that story, they went and they unalived everybody, okay? And they kept her and her family alive because she helped them, right? But you guys, like I said, whatever God does, the enemy copies, all right? He copies everything God does. And one of the reasons why he does that is to cause confusion, right? Just how people in the church lay hands and speak in tongues. There's demonic tongues. There's demonic speaking of tongues and stuff like that. So you guys need to seek the Lord. Take this word back to the Lord. Take me back to the Lord. Take anybody that you're watching back to the Lord. And when I say take them back to the Lord, I mean even if it's not on a platform, even if you're at work, even if it's your parents, take them back to the Lord. Take everybody back to the Lord to confirm if they are supposed to be in your life. You guys, I recently had to pray because the Lord kept telling me, I kept hearing conversations in the spirit about me, or bits and pieces of conversations. I changed my phone number. I was like, well, it was too much to figure out who was what and all this other stuff. So I completely changed my phone number and I cut the contact, right? So with that being said, there's seasons that people are supposed to be in your life, and some of it doesn't make sense, right? Like with me, I'm like, well, they haven't really, well, one person did, but some people haven't even did anything fake yet, right? I had an old best friend. I'm not here to bash her or anything, but we were friends for about 4 years before any fakeness started. But by the 6th year, I 100% was like, okay, this person is not for me. So just because you don't see within the first couple of months that this person is not for you, or you guys been friends for 2 years, God is trying to tell you of a betrayal that is to come. Jesus walked with Judas, right? He walked with him for I don't know how long, a couple years before Judas literally sold him for 30-some pieces of silver. All right? So if he's telling you to cut somebody off now, it might be because there is going to be a big betrayal in the future. Okay? He sees everything. He knows their heart because he made their heart. He knows their minds because he made their minds, you guys. So yeah, I just wanted to say that. I hope this helps someone. Okay? I love you guys. Until next time, kings and queens. Like, share to people that this can help. Okay? And subscribe.